What's up everybody? I'm Ruby Juice and today I'm going to show you how you buy land in Farming Simulator 19 as well as how you can connect fields. So first off, let's check out how we go about buying land. So you want to get into your menu and into your map. Now once you're in your map, you can take a look, and if you look down here in the bottom left corner, there's a thing called lands. Default setting is to hit X on your keyboard. I'm not sure what the controls are in console, but let me know in the comments below. I'm using the Logitech G29 wheel, so I don't have a button bound to this, but I can just use my mouse. So you click on lands, we see the whole map, we see that we currently don't own any fields. Any fields that you do own will show up with a green number. So we don't actually own any fields right now. So let's take a look. If we look down here, we want to buy these fields. Once you click on it, it'll show you all of the land that's included in that parcel, as well as how much it's going to cost you to buy that. So if we want to buy this, it's going to cost us $362,000. So let's go ahead and buy it. Yes. So now that shows up as green. If we go back to our map overview, it takes away the green showing the land that we own around it, but it does still have the green numbers showing the fields that we do own. So let's take a look at how you join fields. I find that fields 24 and 25 in the Ravenport map are excellent candidates for joining together. They're two fairly small fields with a decent little patch between them, no road or anything there, and makes for a great place to connect a couple of fields together. The benefits, of course, to joining your fields together is that if you hire a worker, it will recognize it as one entire field and work it like that instead of having to have the worker complete work on one field and then switch over to the other one and have them do work on that one as well. And obviously it does get you a little bit of extra land to plant your crops on, so it just makes life a little bit easier all around. So in order to create fields and join them together, we need a plow. Now if you look in the shop, subsoilers do say that it can be used instead of a plow, but this isn't the case for joining fields together. This is only the case when we're talking about the yield bonus that you get from plowing if you have that setting turned on. So if you're trying to join fields together or create new fields, you can't use a subsoiler. You have to use a plow. And we can demonstrate this if we open up our help menu. Here we have the plow attached. You see about halfway down there beside the first triangle icon, it says allow create fields. So in order to be able to join fields together or create new fields, we have to be able to turn that on. So now I've turned that on. If I wanted to change it back to limiting the plow to only plowing existing fields, I would do that again. And you'll note, you can see there's two different button combinations. I have two things mapped to X, two to circle, two to triangle. That's because I'm using the Logitech G29 wheel, and I actually have some of those mapped to pressing the L2 button and that other button, circle, square, triangle, X, what have you. But it just doesn't show up in the help menu. You can see here that we have the allow create fields option with the plow, but if we switch to the subsoiler, we don't have that option. It's not in the help menu. We can't create fields with the subsoiler. So let's bring our plow over now that we have creating fields turned on. And it's pretty simple. You just want to try and line yourself up with the edge of the field as best you can. And I like to do a couple of strips this way where you're trying to create the edge of the field. And once we do that, then we can go back and forth the longer way and it'll be a little bit quicker. But for now, we just want to kind of create the ends to give us some space to turn around with the plow. So we drop it down, just drive straight, one field to the next. Make sure that you've fully gone past the edge of the field. turn around and do it again. Now I'm using the Agromass POH5 for this. I like to use a smaller plow just because it's a little bit more maneuverable. Once you get into, the Lemkin or the Gregoire Bisson, then they get pretty unwieldy and they're difficult to turn around, that sort of thing. This way, you can use a small one. If you wanted to, you could use a smaller one just to do the ends and kind of the fine pieces, and then use a larger one if you're trying to join a really long field together or something like that. But in this case, I'm just going to use the Agromass and we'll get the job done with that. So we do want to turn the plow over just to make sure that we're being precise. So we'll drop it down again, and here we go. And I've missed a small piece there. All my talk of precision. You just want to make sure that you're getting everything, because if you don't catch a piece of the grass, then when you try and seed it later, then that piece will stay as grass and not be seeded to the crop. So since we're going to have to go down to the other end with, once back and forth, we have enough space to turn around at the end now. You can see there's enough space to put my plow down without catching any of the grass outside the field there. So we'll do this and drive down along the edge of the field to the other end. I'll stop a little short so that I can do the ends here just like I did on the other side. Now you don't have to do it perfectly the first time, because there is going to be opportunity later to fix any mistakes that you might make along the way. But the less mistakes you make, the less work it is later on. So we'll turn the plow over. Make sure we're lined up well. And do our pass back the other way. Okay, so now that we've got the ends finished off, now we can just go back and forth along the length of the field, and once you've filled all of this in, then voila, you will have your newly created field ready to seed. There we have it, our brand new field. Don't forget to go back and put your plow back on limit fields. You don't want to have any accidents creating new fields when you just need to be plowing normally. Now there's one final thing that you can do. Our edges look fairly clean, but if we wanted to clean them up, then there's a new item in Farming Simulator 19 called the roller. it works a little bit differently than the roller did in Farm Sim 17. This new roller actually returns any ground back to the base state. So you could run it over an existing field and it will return it to that basic grass state. So if we look in the miscellaneous category in the shop, there's the Meadow Roller Vario. If we went a little far with the plow in one direction, then it will eliminate that extra piece of field that we may have created. Alright, so we'll do a quick tutorial here also with the roller that I was talking about. So you buy it in the shop, bring it down to your field. Now the first thing you'll have to do is unfold it. That drops that hitch down, so then you have to detach. And then hook up the tractor to that hitch that you just folded down. And this is what activates the roller, as opposed to just pulling it somewhere. So you'll want to be very careful with this when you're pulling it around, because it will delete the fields, as I mentioned. So you don't want to pull it over anything that you didn't intend to. So here you can see we've got a bit of a messy edge. So we're just going to bring our roller right along the edge here, being ever so careful. And you can see it just deleting that little bit of the edge that we don't want on the field. That's perfect. So I'll just pull it away here. We'll detach it, hook it back up the normal way, and that way we make sure that we're not going to delete anything else that we don't want to. So fold that hitch back up, and away you go. So that, folks, is how you go about buying land, creating new fields, or joining two fields together, and using the roller tool to clean up the edges of any fields that you do create. Hope you enjoyed the video very much. Stay tuned for more tutorials of FS19. See you next time.